So we all knew that 100 Thieves was coming into this next Call of Duty wanting to get back into the competitive scene. They kind of fell out in the last couple Call of Duties. They had tried it out in Black Ops 3, a little bit in Infinite Warfare. They didn't exist this year. So last night, we finally heard that 100 Thieves picked up Fero and Kenny, both from TK. And now the question is, who are going to be those last two players that 100 Thieves picks up? And we know that since it's Nadeshot's team, it's 100 Thieves, they have a lot of resources to pull from. They can go in a lot of different directions. So Connor, let's start off with you. What do you think will be 100 Thieves' next move?
So, as we've talked about before, I think that 100 Thieves' first move should be to try to lure Gunless away from Rise. I don't know if that's possible with the whole contract situation. I don't know if Rise is willing to let him go at this point. I don't know how that works. We don't even know if Rise is going to stay together for the next game or if they're going to disband totally. I mean, they've been one of the strongest teams in World War II. But Nadeshot would be stupid to not at least try to get Gunless. He's arguably the best player in the last game. I also think that since Nadeshot has such a history with Formal, I think Formal would be a logical step. Formal would kind of bring more of a leadership role to that team. I mean, these are all, if they pick up Gunless, those will all be younger players.
Very.
I know Formal hasn't been around the COD scene forever. I mean, Black Ops 2, I think he broke onto the scene. But he's been around the esports community for a long time, and he's a very even-keel, level-headed player, and I think that would be good for this young team.
Formal also showed up to Champs, for sure. Luminosity had an amazing showing after a very rough start after picking up Formal, but Formal definitely showed at Champs that he 100% still has what it takes to be one of the best players in the game.
Yeah, I mean, he probably has the most accurate AR.
Yeah, it was nasty. Some of the stuff he pulled off at Champs was great, but I definitely agree with you. The fact that Gunless, Fero, Kenny, we're talking a lot of fairly young players, just to have that competitive experience, whether it be Halo or Call of Duty from Formal, I think is essential. No matter who they pick up, at least one of these four guys has to have some kind of significant experience in the competitive scene that can kind of hold that mentality together and keep the team kind of on the right track, so to speak.
Not only that, but you're also picking up three players who have never been on, I'll say, major market teams. I know TK and Rise are bigger teams, but this 100 Thieves team with Nadeshot has the potential to be Optic level popular. And they're going to be vying for champs right away. And Formal's the only one of those players that has won a championship, has been on the stage, Formal has a crazy following. So I think you need a player that can cool down the younger players and say, like, hey, look, because no matter what the team is going to be, this is going to be Fero and Kenny's most popular they've ever been.
Definitely. Another player I was thinking of for that kind of AR role, if you weren't able to get a Formal or a Gunless, maybe not so much if you couldn't get Gunless, I don't know if he would play well with Formal, but Methods. Optic had their roster kind of break up halfway through World War II, then it only got worse, and they had the worst showing Optic has arguably ever had in a COD Champs at the end of the year. We know Methods was not one of their top picks for an AR, and since things didn't work out, maybe Methods is available. He definitely has the talent. Maybe things aren't working out on Optic, but I think no one can argue that Methods is not another solid pick if it were to come to that. Maybe not your top pick, but definitely someone that if you had on your team, you wouldn't necessarily be worried about that. You'd be pretty happy to get somebody with like Methods, I think.
I agree with that. I think Methods is extremely talented, and I think that he got put in a poor situation on Optic. I think that he's a great AR who was overshadowed on Optic by Octane, and I think that Optic is going to make a roster change, and I do not think Methods is going to be on Optic, so that's a logical choice. It's the same thing, though. I don't know if Methods has the ability to be an in-game leader. So if they picked up Methods, I think they have to pick up a strong personality, like possibly Karma. I could see Karma going there because, again, Karma has a relationship with Nadeshot. They've both been around the scene for a long time. There's a lot of mutual respect there. And Karma's a free agent. I mean, we all know that.
And we know, yeah, he wants to return to this Call of Duty in the competitive scene. It probably, I would say, with the fact that Optic dropped him, I would find it very unlikely that they'd be like, hey, you want to come back?
Yeah.
I can't see that happening. So, and since he is a all-star player, one of the greatest Call of COD players of all time, again, that 100 Thieves team is one of the only teams that can actually compete for him to be on their team, from that level of, you know, being paid, and from the level of just being that high tier popularity concepts. Like 100 Thieves, I would think, has to be on Karma's top 3 list of teams to get on this season.
I would agree with that. I also think that, you know, there's a lot of rumors that there's going to be this big 100 Thieves Optic rivalry, and I think Karma would love to stick it to Optic. I'm not saying that there's any hard feelings. I'm just saying that if there's going to be this huge rivalry, I'm sure Karma, as competitive as he is, and the way that things happened with Optic, I'm sure he would love to beat Optic and be on their main rival team.
What about Formal Karma? Could that combination work?
That combination has worked in the past.
That would be one heck of a matchup. 100 Thieves with Formal Karma up against Optic with
Scump and Crim. Yeah, that would be... I mean, we'll have to save that for another video after this happens, but depending on who Optic picks up, people are going to be talking about that for the next couple months for sure.
Yeah.
Any other...
Can we expect to see TK, any of those 4 players, return to TK at this point? TK had an amazing season all around. I would argue that all of those players, there are plenty of teams out there that would be happy to have them on their roster. Is it possible we see the entire TK roster change going into next season? Do we even see a TK roster come back next season?
I'm sure we'll see a TK roster. Will it be any of the same players? That's to be determined. I don't know. Right now it looks like every one of them is a free agent. I don't know what TK has in mind right now. I don't know if they're planning on picking up a new roster. I don't know if they're planning on picking up one player and building around him. I don't know what TK's planning to do.
Guess we'll just have to wait and find out. With the new Call of Duty, so many things are going to be different that a lot of this is very speculative. We could be wrong about everything. This next Call of Duty drops after a couple weeks. People start to figure it out. Could be completely different from what we expect, and so who knows what kind of rosters people will even be going after.
I also think that TK is lower on the pecking order when it comes to getting the best players. So I think
Definitely.
kind of the way you see roster mania work is the teams, top level teams, take the good players, and the lower level teams kind of wait to see what happens, see who becomes free
Yes,
agents, see who
yeah.
they can pick up.
Right.
So right now you're seeing 100 Thieves. I think you're going to see Optic in the next month. And then from there, I think teams are going to try to piece themselves together. It also depends on who players want to play with.
Yep, totally agree. Well, guess we're just going to have to wait to find out.
Yep.